All right, so 3.3, corresponding parts of congruent figures and are congruent, and the essential question is, what can you conclude about two figures that are congruent? So if you turn the page to 140, halfway down, corresponding parts of congruent figures are congruent. So if two figures are congruent, then their corresponding sides are congruent and their corresponding angles are congruent, okay? So let's look down here at B. And we're going to use these two triangles up here. And it says that we want to find the measure of angle B. All right, so we got to find the angle that corresponds to angle B. And since triangle ABC is congruent to DEF, we know that angle B is congruent to angle E. And you can look up at the triangles and try to figure it out, but the easiest way to figure it out is to look where B is located. All right, and then E has to be located in the same spot. And so that's why it's very quick, very sure way to find out that it's angle E that's congruent to angle B. So we got to find the measure of the unknown angle. And let's see, D matches to A, doesn't it? So that's 73. E matches to B, which is 65. And C matches to F, which is 42. So we know the measure of angle B is the same as the measure of angle E. And the measure of angle E equals 65. And so we know that the measure of angle B equals 65 degrees also. Let's go down to, or let's flip the page. All right, so I want you to do the your turn, number 4, and then check back and see if you've done it right. Okay, so if you look over here at the names of the triangles, you can see that SU is in the same place as VX. So that's why I put that there. And VX is 43 feet, so I know that SU is also 43 feet. All right, now applying the properties of congruence. Reflexive means that if segment AB is congruent to segment AB, it's just the reflective property. You write the same thing on the other side. Symmetric property, remember I said that the S word was simply switching sides, remember? And so what that means is if AB is congruent to segment CD, then CD is congruent to AB. And the transitive property is that traveling one. If AB is congruent to segment CD and line segment CD is congruent to EF, then AB is congruent to EF. So let's go down here to B. I guess that's on the other page. And see if we can I don't want to flip around from page to page. We can do those in class if we need to. Let's just look at the next one because all the information is right there in front of us. So it's given us two quadrilaterals and it wants to find the given length or angle measure. So let's do LM. And if we look up here at the letters, we can see that LM is in the same place GH. So it means that LM is going to be congruent to GH. And LM is 6x minus 13 we know is congruent. And we can just write an equal sign there because we're doing an equation. And GH is 4x plus 3. And we're just going to solve for x. And when we get it, we're going to get x equals 8. And so we know that LM would be 48 minus 13, which gives me 35 centimeters. Now we're going to flip the page and we're going to actually look at some proofs. Okay. So on page 143 at the top, they gave us two quadrilaterals. Okay, and they told us that they're congruent, which is what we have here in the first statement. Okay, that's given. The second statement is also given. They gave us that. Now it says angle K is congruent to angle P. And we know that because if we look up here in the order, K is in the same spot as P is. So we can say that that's corresponding parts of congruent figures. That's how we know that. And then it says angle J is congruent to angle P, which is the transitive property. And let's look at that for a second. It gave us J is congruent to K. And we know that K is congruent to angle P. Therefore, J is congruent to P. And I think that we're going to do the your turns of these in class together tomorrow. So that's it for this video.